And then the weatherman said a heat wave was coming. I was like, does he not realize we're in a heat wave and us menopausal women don't like heat waves? All right, welcome
Then
everyone.
the weatherman said a heat wave was coming. I was like,
I didn't realize I needed to mute it whenever I
Oh,
stream to YouTube.
that's
So
okay.
sorry for the little glitch. Still learning that feature.
That's okay. Well, welcome everybody. We are so excited that you're taking 30 minutes of your time tonight to come and sit with us and learn about perimenopause to postmenopausal skin. So, part of what's going on is we're dealing with hormone shifts during this season, and our skin feels it. And what worked at 35 all of a sudden isn't working anymore. And we're like, what? The what? What is going on? This isn't your skin failing you. It's your skin screaming to you, I need different now. And so, as a retired ER nurse, a licensed esthetician, and a Mary Kay sales director, I built this menopause, perimenopause program so that we as women and as consultants could better understand what exactly is going on. How can I educate you? Because I'm of the mindset, I don't want you to tell me what to do. I want you to tell me why.
why?
Help me to learn. And so when you help me learn, then I can better be more prepared and more consistent. So let me just throw a few things out there that maybe some of y'all can relate to, okay? There's a bunch of them. Hormonal breakouts. Like all of a sudden you look like a teenager and you're like, no, I got past this stage. Clogged pores. You've got excess oil and dehydrated skin. Your pH is imbalanced on your skin. Your products are insufficient. They're no longer working like they did. You've got uneven texture, dullness. Those fine lines and those deep wrinkles have started to surface. You're dehydrated, plus you might be oily, at least in the beginning part. You're dealing with redness, sensitivity, reactive skin, collagen loss, sagging, deep lines. Okay, dark spots. Ladies, you know those brown spots that suddenly started appearing when you started going through the change? Guess what? You actually got those most likely in your youth, and it's taken them this long to make it to the surface. So now we get all the effects of our youth. And so we're going to talk about that. So perimenopause is the season, and for some women, this can last up to 10 years, but this is the season when you're entering into postmenopause. So you're dealing with fluctuating hormones. I will tell you right now, estrogen is the big hormone that affects our skin. It is a excellent communicator to different organs in our body. And did you know that our skin is the largest organ in our body? And so it is communicating. And when the have you ever had well, if you're going through menopause, you know what a landline was like. And remember when they would get staticky? And so you might be noticing some staticky signals going on with your skin. And then as we go into postmenopause, you're dealing more with dry skin. Your skin barrier is compromised. Those wrinkles, the fine, the deep, the discoloration, the inflammation, all of that. And so tonight, what we're going to do, we're not giving this to you in order of application. That's a big question I get. What we're actually doing is I'm telling you what the problem is, what the science behind the problem is, because that's the part I need to know. And then Miss Heidi is then going to give you some product recommendations that are going to help with this. And so I am going to kick it to my friend, Miss Heidi.
Hello, hello. Thank you for that introduction, Brenda. I'm very excited about this tonight, and I hope you all are ready to take notes. Before we get started, something that I want you to know is everything we're talking about tonight is in what we call the supplement category or the extras, the and then some. It's very targeted products for specific ailments, for lack of a better term. And so just know that you need to have a base of a great skincare routine in order to incorporate these and have them be the most effective. We do have several skincare lines in Mary Kay. If you are a guest tonight and aren't sure the best one for you, have a conversation with your consultant. If your consultant doesn't know, she can have a conversation with her director. But we absolutely recommend a multi-step skincare routine to at least get proper cleansing, proper moisturization, and then be able to take things to the next level. So just want to have everyone on the same page for that tonight.
Okay, so we're going to kick it off tonight with acne. So maybe you had acne when you were a youth, and now all of a sudden you're dealing with breakouts. While you're in the perimenopause season, those breakouts are active breakouts. They look a lot like teenage breakouts. And so there's a couple of reasons, but your declining estrogen and your rising androgens are actually signaling to your body, oh, there's a problem. We need to produce a lot of sebum, which is oil. And so you're dealing with this excess oil production. Then we're starting to deal with clogged pores, congestion in our skin. And you might even be noticing that the texture has changed. Now, what I recommend for perimenopausal acne works great for perimenopausal acne. Here in a minute, we're going to talk about menopausal acne, and so that's going to be a little bit different. But my recommendations for perimenopausal acne are things like spot treatments. So spot, just treat the blemish itself. Because most likely at this point, your skin barrier is already starting to become compromised with the estrogen changes going on in your body. We don't need salicylic acid all over our face. Then there's an amazing ingredient that's used in so many ways in medicine, and it's charcoal. And what makes charcoal so amazing is charcoal is an absorber, AB absorber. So an absorber not only absorbs the adsorb. It not only absorbs the oil, but it's like a magnet. Bad things are attracted to it. It's going to neutralize and carry off what it can. So that's really good for perimenopausal acne. And then also some surface problems. And Heidi is going to recommend or share with you a couple of products that are going to help this problem.
Okay, so first up, we have our acne treatment gel, which is, as Brenda said, its main ingredient is that peroxide, that high powerful, really zaps blemishes. So this is something that you're only going to target on those spots that pop up, not all over, like she said. And it comes in a handy little tube that has a needle tip applicator that makes that super easy. Just put it on the tip of your finger and touch those spots. And then also our charcoal mask. So you can see that both of these products are packaged in clear proof. This is a telltale sign that these products are used for acne. However, I will say that whether your acne is like next level acne or just that maybe you're a little bit blemish prone, like Brenda was talking about, or because you have excess oil, this product is going to be excellent for you. And also drier girls can use this. Just want to be clear on that. But it does smell, I say, like a spa. It's got peppermint and rosemary, and it's cooling. It immediately starts going to work the moment it hits your skin. You do want to leave it on for about 10, maybe 20 minutes if you have the time for that. And just watch it dry on your skin and pull the stuff out of your pores. It's kind of cool and gross all at the same time. You know what I'm saying? If we think about both sides of that, you're going to watch all that come back to the surface, and then you gently wipe it off, and you will notice a difference the first use. This is a product that, as someone that produces more oil than the average Joe, I love to use this of a morning, because then it helps me throughout the day kind of keep that under control. So, oh,
All
and
right.
then
Yes, yes,
okay.
yes.
Sorry, our third product in this category is our facial peel. And if you've ever heard me talk about this product elsewhere, you know that I believe this product should be floated in from the heavens on a cloud and sing a song and have a spotlight and angelic wings and all the things, because it is next level for sure, for sure. But its key ingredient as Brenda mentioned, it's glycolic acid, but it's gentle. Sometimes the word peel throws people off. If you've been to a med spa or a similar place that facilitates professional grade facials, this is often a product they use, and it's a wonderful, powerful product, and oftentimes gives you what we call downtime, where your skin actually sloughs off. This is a much gentler version of that. In fact, you're not going to notice any skin sloughing, but you are going to notice the result of that over time, where you're going to get back to that baby smooth skin. So I like to put this in a category. Just real quick, my recap for this, I feel like the visual helps, that if we were to pretend that we had a cantaloupe, that we were getting through the rind to the fleshy center, if we were to use a piece of sandpaper on that rind, that would be like we have a couple of cleansers that have a built-in exfoliator in them. It's going to take a little bit to get to the center, but it's still doing some good on that outside skin. Then we can bump that up a notch with a product like our Microderm. And I know I'm not trying to confuse you with additional products. I just want you to kind of feel how this goes in the lineup. That would be like if you used a cheese grater on the outside of that cantaloupe, you're going to get there a little bit quicker than the sandpaper, right? Well, the facial peel was like if you pulled out that vegetable peeler that you have in your kitchen drawer, and in one swipe, you're going to get to the orange part of the cantaloupe. That's what this is doing. So that's my illustration for letting you know it's gentle yet powerful, if those two words can exist in the same sentence.
Okay, now we're going to move on to our next problem. So now we're talking a little bit more about menopausal acne or postmenopausal acne. So it's not active blemishes. It's inflamed, it's big, it's red, but that acne treatment gel, that charcoal mask isn't going to touch it because it's more of an inflammatory process. But we are also now starting to deal with early fine lines, an uneven texture. And as we age, our cellular turnover starts to slow down. And so we have to help those dead skin cells to leave so that new skin cells can arise. And one of the things that estrogen does is so as our estrogen declines, we are producing less collagen and elastin. So if you start to notice, oh, my skin's sagging a little bit, I don't have as much plumpness, there's a lot more exaggeration going on. That has to do that with that declining estrogen. Our body is not making collagen and elastin like it used to. And so this next product, which is a vitamin A, and vitamin A is retinol, it is the gold standard for anti-aging, and it's my preferred treatment for menopausal acne. It will actually work on perimenopausal acne as well as menopausal acne, but the acne treatment gel and the charcoal don't really help menopausal acne. And so Heidi's going to tell you about Mary Kay's retinol product.
It looks like this, and it is a retinol 0.3, which means that it is a grade that is going to do a great job. I mean, retinol, like Brenda said, is like the gold standard ingredient, but it's not too powerful, so you can use it daily. So I say this because we have in the past, if you have been a Mary Kay customer for a while or a consultant, you know that we made the switch a few months ago. I don't actually know how long it's been now, but a little bit ago, from our 0.5 to the 0.3 so that you could use it daily. What we have discovered is that consistent use beats concentration, because if you can get your skin used to that and you can have that as a daily treatment, then the results are exponential. But something to note, it is sometimes still powerful for someone with sensitive skin. So you're going to want to kind of test it. There's not a retinization period where you have to build up to it. You can go ahead and try it, but just know if you're sensitive, you may want to try it by mixing it with your moisturizer. So Brenda and I are two great examples of this. I am someone who is not sensitive to retinol in the least. I could actually use our previous more powerful formula multiple days a week. Brenda, however, is not someone who can do that. And so where I use retinol at the beginning of my skincare routine after my cleanser, and before I do some other things, before I get to moisturization, Brenda is going to use it with her moisturization at the end of her skincare routine because she actually mixes the two products together before applying it to her face. And what that does is kind of creates a buffer between the retinol and your skin. But if you're not someone that has that sensitivity, go ahead and try it because it is a turn back time ingredient for sure.
So I dealt with some extra breakouts this last pellet cycle, and it was all right here. It's the only time I put retinol directly on my skin, and I was like making sure I got my breakouts. Okay, the next step we're going to talk about is dehydration. As we go through menopause, our skin becomes more and more dehydrated. In perimenopause, you still got oil, but you can have oily skin and very dehydrated skin. And here's some of the science behind it. Again, as our cellular turnover is decreasing, as our estrogen starts declining, our bodies naturally produce hyaluronic acid and ceramides. That's what helps us retain moisture. That's what helps, besides the collagen and the elastin, that's also what kind of gives our skin that plump feeling and look. But as we go through menopause, our skin barrier weakens and we start losing moisture. There's a term called TEWL, which is TEWL. That stands for trans epidermal water loss. Your skin's evaporating. Okay. But as we get older, as our estrogen declines, our ability to hold on to our moisture goes away. And so not only are you competing with the inside of your body, you're now competing with the air outside your body. And this is why in the winter time, your skin gets even more dry because you can't hold on to what you got. And the air outside your skin is drier than your skin. And so it wants to go save the air. And you're like, but no, I need you to save me. And so Heidi's going to share with you a couple of really good hydrating products for this season and this problem.
Okay, the first one, we're going to continue the conversation in our clinical solutions line, which is what our retinol was packaged in case you didn't catch that. But this, it has a fancy name. It's called HA Plus Ceramide Hydrator. That's a lot to say, right? Heidi calls this the blue booster. Does it look blue? No. But if I show you really close, the top title writing is blue. So my fancy way of remembering that this is the hydrating booster is because ever since I was a little girl, when I drew water, I drew it with a blue crayon. And so to me, water is blue. Water is hydrating. So therefore, blue booster makes sense to hydrate my skin, right? You'll never forget. That makes perfect sense. It has hyaluronic acid and ceramide as its key ingredients, which are together work to attach themselves to your skin's natural moisture cells and plump them up. That's what makes the skin so supple and feel hydrated without it being like a moisturization product. And so this is an excellent product for everyone, no matter how sensitive you are, morning and night, you can use it. Is fantastic. The second piece in our hydration lineup is our hydrating cream mask, which is a newer product for us. We just came out with this year, and it's labeled as a mask, but just between you and I, it really doesn't need to be labeled a mask. I don't really know what else you would call it. Cream. We could have stopped at hydrating cream, I guess. I'm not really sure. But it is a product that you use in between your cleanser and your moisturizer with all your other steps. But what it does is you put it on like an extra amount and then you let it sit for just a few, but all the excess that's there you can go ahead and rub in. You don't have to rinse it off. And what it does is it's like, the feeling of supple, right? Like if I use that word, that's not just smooth, that's like supple is a pretty word. Supple means youthful and like extra super duper smooth. Well, that's what this does. This takes that smoothness up that next level and locks in all that moisture so that you can follow it up with your moisturizer and all the things to go on about your day. Whether you are a dry girl or not, I promise you will appreciate this. The key word is hydrating. Oily girls, we run from words like moisturization, but hydrating is so different because it does such a great job at taking what like what God gave us in our natural barrier, our natural moisture cells, and just keeps them fresh.
Okay, now we're going to get into another problem, and this is now we're kind of getting into more of the anti-aging things that we start to notice the longer we get to live here on Earth. And so that is, we've already talked a little bit about collagen loss, but we're talking about sagging skin, deep lines and wrinkles, stubborn hyperpigmentation, and dark spots, those sunspots you got when you were in your 20s and you put betadine on your skin and you laid out in the sun. Yeah, if you're up there with me, you know exactly what I'm talking about. All of that is starting to come out. And so here's something that's really awesome. Vitamin C is a required cofactor for our bodies to make collagen. Now, you can eat and drink all the vitamin C in the world you want. Not all of it is making it to the skin. And that is why a topical vitamin C is so essential, because it's going to help us to build more collagen, which that's going to help with the sagging. Resveratrol also is going to help stop what collagen we have from breaking down. So we're going to help build it, but we're also going to help stop it from breaking down. And then we're going to start tackling those discolorations. So let me tell you something about vitamin C, niacinamide, and vitamin E. How these three things work so beautifully together. You need your vitamin C to help with collagen. That's going to help with plumpness, but is also a great antioxidant. So it's going to start helping repair damage. All right. And so it is helping with, so part of what's happening with discoloration as we age, maybe you have a lot of redness in your face, maybe you have a lot of brown spots in your face. Part of what's happening for the brown spots is your melanin is trying to escape into other cells. And so what we want to do is stop that, and we want to put that in its place. Okay. So when you use vitamin C, vitamin E, and niacinamide, you are giving yourselves a 42% increase in your skin's brightness, because vitamin C works one way, niacinamide works another way, and vitamin E is an anti-inflammatory. So you know that blemish that hurts like the dickens, but nothing's happening with it. It just hurts. Or that red skin that, oh, if you just touch it, it hurts. Those ingredients help address all of those. And when they're used together, they're even more effective.
Perfect. Okay. So continuing in our lineup of clinical solutions product, when Brenda was talking about the first anti-aging, when she was talking about vitamin C and resveratrol, that is in our purple booster. Again, C plus resveratrol line reducer is its formal name, but you can call it purple booster with me. You want to know how I remember this one? Because the color of royalty is purple, right? And in my mind, royals have the most perfect, blemish free, no wrinkled skin. And so it makes sense to me that the purple royal booster would be the one that has vitamin C and resveratrol for line reducing. I know it might be a stretch, but I promise the more you think about it, the more you'll believe it. And that product does exactly what it says. It's got the vitamin C, it's got the resveratrol. It prevents fine lines and wrinkles, treats them if you already have them. It's wonderful. The next booster, the last one we're going to talk about tonight, is this one is, it has a really fancy title. Sometimes I don't even say it right. Ferulic acid plus niacinamide brightener. It doesn't have the word acid in there, but I feel funny saying the word ferulic without it. Anyway, it is orange. And because it's a brightener, to me, the sun also, I always use an orange crayon when I drew that as a kid. So sun is brightening, orange booster is brightening. It makes perfect sense, right? You guys are never going to call them by their real names, and I'm sorry for that, but it's so much easier if you do it my way. Okay. Also, that does exactly what it says. And the excellent thing about that orange booster with the last product, Brenda talked about the properties of C plus E being healing and brightening and all the things. When you combine that orange booster with our vitamin C plus E serum that looks like this, they increase each other's efficacy by like 41%. And so you are doing exponential things for your skin when you do both. But what I love about this product is on the side, it has this little meter that tells you what your use up is so that you know if you're getting low. You don't just have to shake the bottle. You can visibly see it and let your consultant know that you got to have another one. Because once you start using this product and feel the difference, it will be a product that you can't live without for sure.
And then our last subject that we're going to talk about tonight is skin barrier. Okay. So as estrogen declines, estrogen is essential to help maintain what we call our acid mantle. So acid mantle, our skin is actually acidic. It's not basic. It doesn't have a alkalinic tone to it. It's actually acidic. And that acid is what helps, one, helps your body maintain its moisture, and two, helps to prevent pathogens from getting into your skin. But as your estrogen starts to decline, so does that support system for your skin barrier. That probably one of the top questions I get is, Brenda, how do I know that my skin barrier is compromised? And here are a few things that might tell you your skin barrier is compromised. You're red. Your skin burns. It hurts sometimes to touch it. Products that used to work great, yeah, they're not working anymore. Like all of a sudden you're like, what's the deal? Um, your skin feels tighter than usual. And that retinol that you were doing just fine with a few years ago, now all of a sudden has your skin all in a mess. It's not you. It's not your products. It's that your body has changed and we have to meet that change. And so I am a big proponent of one, let's get our skin barrier back up to a healthy level. And then once you get it there, let's maintain it. Let's don't neglect it. And so there are several ways that we can work on our skin barrier. One is with our pH. So your skin, like I said, your skin's pH is acidic. It runs anywhere from about 4.5 to 5.5. FYI, vitamin C loves a very acidic environment. So vitamin C loves that 4.5, 5 area. That's where it performs the best. And so you use the right pH balance on your soap. But what did you do with that soap? You had to rinse it off. Well, you know what? Water has a pH of 7. So you have temporarily elevated your skin's pH to where it's not as acidic. Well, if you try putting vitamin C on a skin that's not acidic, that vitamin C can't go to work right away. And so it's not as effective, and there's a delay in your body being able to utilize that vitamin C. Also, our skin has this beautiful combination. God made us perfect. And so our skin has this great ratio of 1 part ceramide, water, 1 part fat, oil, 3 parts cholesterol, structure, strength. Don't think bad cholesterol, think good cholesterol. And so when your skin barrier is compromised, it hurts. It gets infected easily. I bet a lot of you, as I look at my mom's skin, and it becomes very frail. And I started noticing that my hands were becoming a little bit more frail. This one product that Heidi's going to tell us about here in a second, I actually put on my hands and my neck. I probably would just dip my body in it if I could. But your skin recognizes ingredients when it's in the proper ratio. So even when your skin barrier is compromised, when you are putting the right ingredients on it, it allows your skin to heal. And so these products get your skin's pH back to where it needs to be. It structurally gives it what it needs. So a big question I get is, okay, well, my pH, my barrier is healthy. Do I need to keep supporting it? Yes, because once you hit perimenopause to menopause and beyond, remember, as we're not making estrogen, we don't have that communicator. You may be taking it in some type of form. And just so you know, topical isn't always the same. So, for instance, a vaginal estrogen is great for women that deal with a lot of UTIs as they age. Did you know it will decrease your chance of death by 80% from becoming septic from a UTI? But it's not the same as maybe an estrogen pellet or an estrogen patch. So there's all these different ways. And what you and your doctor have to do is figure out what you need for you. And so Heidi's going to tell you about two products that I am extremely passionate about. I tell 100% of all my clients, even if you're not menopausal, you need to be on these products. And she's going to tell you about them.
Don't you love that she uses words like alkalinic and then I come in and say orange booster? I mean, it's literally the most comical pairing, is it not? I really appreciate all the knowledge, right? Because it makes sense. It makes me feel like I can tell how these products are working, but on a day-to-day basis, I just have to have something to remember so I know what order to put it in and all the things. So, the first product, Brenda really does talk about this like when this product first came out, I have to be honest that there were a few of us that were kind of slow on the uptake to put this in our routine or to talk about it or to like wonder why we even needed it. But Brenda was ready to just climb to the top of Mount Everest and make sure the world knew this product existed. And that was our balancing toner. So this product, like she talked about how our pH gets off so easy, even with just wetting our face, this product immediately rebalances, takes it back where it's supposed to go. And the reason that that's important is because, as you can imagine, with washing our face with a product that has a bunch of ingredients in it and coming off whatever day we've had, plus adding water to it, even after that first step, our skin kind of takes a minute to adjust. And so then we start putting all these other products on top, and we wonder why it feels like it takes a while for us to see results, or that maybe our skin feels mad sometimes. If we stopped and took a moment to rebalance our skin, those products that come afterwards have a better chance of being effective, but also for you having long-term results quicker. And so that's what I learned from my friend Brenda about this product. And I feel like she must be so proud of me that now I talk about it in such a way. It's an excellent product. It is in our Mary Kay line, which is it's like a nondescript line. It's a product that doesn't have age-fighting ingredients. It's our cleanest line. It's our simplest line, but it has this powerhouse product in it. And so it's for everyone. Okay. The last one, we're going to be mindful of the time and not keep you too much longer, but it is again our clinical solutions line. I hope you've seen a theme that all the next level products are packaged in clinical solutions, it seems. But this is our Barrier Restore Cream. And as Brenda mentioned to you, our skin naturally is made up of that 1:1:3 ratio. Well, this is how I remember it. You know, when you're a baby, you have super smooth skin typically, and the only wrinkles you have are caused by your cute little rolls, right? It's not actually like a permanent indentation. But then something happens as life goes on, and life is stressful, and kids are a lot, and work is a lot, and the environment is a lot, and all the things. And these little creepy lines decide to show up in places that we don't want them. And so I think of that like our barrier too. Like my barrier might have been perfect when I was born, but Heidi's done a lot of things to her skin over the years. And so this product has that. It's actually called Barrier Restore 1:1:3 because it's designed to mimic that same ratio that Brenda said we were made with at the beginning. And so what we're doing is we're putting that back onto our skin. It's almost like giving your skin a little drink when it feels tortured. Like sometimes our skin can feel like it's in the middle of the desert. And this, while it's not a moisturizer, it helps kind of quench its thirst, if you will, because like, how many of you have ever said, well, my skin is just mad, or I have redness that I've never had before? I mean, it could be something as simple as like you went out in the winter and you got windburn. Okay, that is your skin is reacting to that because something is off. Well, this kind of product is going to help soothe it, but it's also going to help work to strengthen that barrier, almost like making your skin like a brick wall against all the bad stuff. So, that's why we all need that product as well. And that does conclude the 11 products that we had for you tonight to combat this crazy season of skin we're in.
So just a quick caveat, this was designed for perimenopause and menopausal skin. These products are not exclusive to this situation. So just because we didn't mention a product's benefit doesn't mean it doesn't exist. We are just specifically addressing perimenopause and menopausal concerns. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. We did record this and it is on YouTube, so we will share that link also if you want to go back and review. But thank you all so much for being on. We went 5 minutes over, but we hope you enjoyed it and we hope that you learned, and just keep your feedback coming.
Oh,
Thank
there's
y'all.
one quick question before we hang up. It
Uh-huh.
says, how often do we use the Mary Kay skin barrier?
Twice a day. I do it twice a day. You could at least once a day, but I do it twice a day. I do it every morning. But also keep in mind, as Heidi mentioned, so we talked that I have really sensitive skin. When someone has sensitive skin, it is a skin barrier problem. That's why your skin is sensitive. It may be a allergy issue. It can be a lot of other things, but ultimately it's a skin barrier problem. And so it is essential that I use our barrier restore cream twice a day. It's what I also add to my hands. I make sure I put it on my neck. If I was going to say something else, but technically, never mind. I withdraw what I was going to say because it wasn't going to be, it's a Brenda thing and not necessarily a Mary Kay thing. And here's one more thing I'm going to add. If you or one of your clients uses the pH balancing toner and it burns, big red flag, your pH is off. It does not mean you're allergic to it. It means your pH is so off. And once your skin's pH starts to reset, that product doesn't burn anymore. And that's how, usually when I wake up, if I am red through here, I know my skin is not happy and I need to start protecting it. So I hope you all enjoyed this. Keep the questions coming. We're probably going to do this, a few more times. So this isn't the